What's up, y'all? It's Creator from We Shoot Films, and today we're looking at a little budget macro lens that honestly surprised me. The TTartisan 40mm 2.8 macro for Sony APS-C. It's fully manual, and it might be one of the easiest ways to step into macro if you're rocking a Sony crop sensor body. I'm going to walk you through the build, image quality, the good, the annoying, and whether I'd actually use this in my real-world workflow. So let's jump in. All right, so let's talk about what this lens is and who it's for. This is, like I said, a 40mm 2.8 macro lens designed for Sony APS-C E-mount. It gives you about 1:1 magnification. So yeah, it's a real macro lens. You ain't just, focusing close. This is an actual macro lens. There is a difference. And it's completely manual, no autofocus, no electronics. It ain't talking to your camera in no type of way. All right, so you got to be cool with manual and lenses. But for macro, it makes sense. Now, on APS-C, a 40mm going to give you something in the normal 60mm-ish full frame look, all right? Which means this isn't just for bugs and textures. You can actually use this for product shots, detailed B-roll, portraits, everyday creative stuff. If you're the kind of shooter who likes to slow down, take your time, dial things in, this lens is gonna feel natural. If you're a run and gun type of creator, then this might not be for you, but I'm telling you, you need one of these in your bag all the time, just when you want to get that fine, close detail. Like I told you, this is beyond just zooming in and getting a close-up. This is gonna catch every detail. I'm gonna show you, I'm telling you. All right, let's keep going. Out of the box, the TTartisan keeps it simple. Basic box, the manual warranty card, plastic rear cap, metal screw-on front cap, and the lens itself. Now that metal screw-on front cap, we're gonna talk about that later too, because this metal screw-on front cap is crazy, very different, not something I've ever seen before, to be real with you, but I kind of like it. But let's move on. So before I forget, this is not just for E-mount, it also has one for Fuji, Panasonic, and Nikon, so you gotta go check it out for yourself. But let's get back to it. All right, so now let's talk about the build quality and the design. This thing is all metal, like for real. And you can tell the moment you pick it up. It's got some weight to it. And right now you can get it for about $113, but sometimes it goes on sale. This thing is gonna last forever, and it's a beast. Now it's roughly about 370 grams. So it has the solid old school manual lens feel, but not plastic at all. No hollow, nothing. I'm telling you, this feels official. All right, so let's look at the back of this thing. See, look at this, man. Beautiful, just beautiful. This is a fully metal mount. Now, there's no weather sealing, so don't go out trying to be in the rain and all that, all right? This ain't no G-Master. Now, on the barrel, you got an aperture ring that goes from 2.8 down to 16. And and they got clicks in between. And you can hear the clicks. I actually like them. Let me see if you can hear them. Hold on. You hear that? I like that. The clicks are firm and precise and does not feel loose or cheap. Now, even though the ring looks fairly smooth, once you start turning it, there's enough grip and resistance to be comfortable. You know what I mean? This isn't wobbly, free spinning mess. It's not all over the place. It's very controlled with a damp feel. You'll also see a distance scale on the body and a magnification scale on the extending portion, which is very useful when you're doing serious macro work. Now let's go to the front of the lens, because that's where it kind of looks crazy, but it's dope. Let's check it out. Now at the front of the glass is set away down inside the barrel. It's recessed so deep that the lens kind of has a built-in hood effect. Now I just gotta say, this whole metal cover thing, some people won't like this metal cover, but or whatever you want to call it, this metal lens hood, and it screws on here. Secure, tight, and I actually like it. I wish more cameras came with something like this. I wouldn't lose them as much. Now, yeah, I know you got to turn them and stuff, but I actually just like it. It's more secure. It's fully metal. I mean, it feels good. I like it, man. I love this. I wish more lenses had these metal screw-ons, because I got no issue doing it. And also, it has a 52mm thread, so you can still attach ND filters or whatever you want to. But let's keep it moving. All right, so now let's see how this sits on a Sony APS-C body, all right? I'm gonna put it on the FX30. Here we go. Take this one off. And as you see, it looks good. It fits well. It looks comfortable. It don't look out of place or nothing. I mean, it just complements the body. It just really does. This gonna complement any camera really, but it does feel good and look good on the FX30. I can't front. The size matches the camera well. It doesn't make the setup ridiculously look front heavy. I can't front, from that angle, it looks a little weird, you know what I'm saying? But it looks good though. I mean, I'm okay with it. If you want if you need that macro, you extend this and get all that macro love. But if you don't, you're gonna leave it, somewhere around here. You're gonna focus, do your thing, and you're gonna look good. Like I said, you can use this as a regular lens too. You don't have to be just macro. And that's what I love about it. You can get that good look, and still, if you need that macro, activate. You feel me? What I love about this lens is that it's compact enough for you to, put it in your bag as your dedicated macro option without feeling like you're lugging around a giant telephoto, lens taking up all this space. It's small and compact, easy to travel with, and it looks amazing. So it's a great thing for you. So I'm telling you, if you need one like this, get it. Because when you need it, you need it. You feel me? All right, so now let's look at the macro performance and the real world use. Now this is a 1-to-1 macro, which means you can get very close and fill the frame with very tiny details, all right? So in my test, I'm not no crazy lens dude tester, you know what I'm saying? I'm a real world guy. I use it, I see what it looks like. If it looks good, that's what it is, okay? I don't get into too many crazy tests. Now, maybe I will in the future as I get more into reviewing more lenses. If you want a pixel peep, you probably got to go to Gerald Undone or something. Not me. Not all of us can afford them $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 lenses. When I tell you the truth, TTartisan, they kind of compete with some of these G Masters, but let me keep it moving. I don't want to create no beef. I don't want no smoke. I usually stop about F4 or F5, but either one of those, F4, F5, F8, it's all going to give you a nice clean image. Even at 2.8, you're getting a nice image. It's just that at 2.8, the focus is just, it's really thin, so it's just harder. But this lens can definitely and absolutely handle product shots for YouTube, thumbnails, or even commercial work if you light it right. Just remember that. This is my son's eye, and I'm this close. As you see, look how close I am to his eye, and this is what it looks like. And it's hard to get a focus, You can have something in focus, and 2 millimeters behind it, already gone. It looks beautiful when you nail it, but it's not forgiving at all. You got to really have patience. And I would say even make sure you put it on a tripod, all right? Because you don't want to hand hold this too much. Hand holding it, trying to get a macro shot real close like that, it's going to be very hard, shaky. You're going to get a lot of, if you're taking a picture, you might be able to pull it off, but definitely not for video, all right? Put it on a tripod. Think you're gonna have better results. Most of the time what I do is I set my focus roughly where I want it, you know what I mean? If it's not on the tripod, then you just kind of gotta focus in and out, because as you go in, I'm telling you, if the focus be crazy at 2.8, even at F4 or F5, you know what I mean? So you gotta go back and forth until the plane of focus is where you need it. That's just how manual lenses are, and this macro lens is no different. But once you get used to it, you'll figure it out. It's fun though, you know what I mean? You'll be all right. Now, can you use this beyond macro for like regular portraits or B-roll? Definitely can, because that 40mm focal length on the APS-C, you're not locked into only shooting little tiny things, you feel me? Or you can use it for them portraits, for detailed B-roll, for your product reviews, you feel me? That's what I use it a lot for. Lifestyle shots, close-up storytelling, anything you need to get in real close and you want more detail, I'm telling you, this is so worth it, man. I just can't really believe the price. Even after, I don't know how they make any money. I don't know how they make any money making this lens, because it's so good. It made so well. and it does so much. The bokeh on this is smooth enough to be pleasing. It doesn't look cheap or nervous in a distracting way at all. The main challenge here is manual focus. I always tell people, don't just rely on autofocus, all right? You want to know how to manually focus a lens, okay? And this is a great lens to start with. If you don't know how to and you're not comfortable with it, just get to learn how to manual focus a lens. It's just going to open up your choices, all right? All right, so remember, the focus throw is designed with macro in mind. So if your subject is moving around, you're going to work for your shots. This is a lens for controlled setups or people who don't mind slowing down. You feel me? Now, that's being if you're using it in a macro-ish way or whatever. But I still say, as a regular lens, it works just like any other lens. Same concepts, all right? All right, so now let's talk about the sharpness, because for the price, this thing is impressive. Stop down, this is more than sharp enough for professional looking macro shots and product photography, even wide open. If you're not right at a minimum focus, it can still look very, very good. So don't worry about that. Now, when we look at chromatic aberration, now, like I said, I'm not this perfect lens reviewer that, checks all these things, all right? I get it. I just know what I like to see. But I do understand what chromatic aberration is, and depending on what you're shooting, it is important, especially for stuff like this. And I gotta say, it's great. You can see some color fringing in high contrast areas, especially if you're shooting something like branches or fine lines against bright light. Sometimes it can vary depending on the light. It's there sometimes, but it's not catastrophic if you did see it. And for most macro shots with controlled lighting, you're not going to notice it at all. It's not even, I'm telling you, and I'm showing you right now, look at these shots. You see no chromatic aberration at all, no color fringing, no around the edges, nothing. So you tell me, do you see it? Because it ain't there. You feel me? So, I have yet to see it, but, I've heard, let me just say that. I've heard in certain high contrast areas, or depending how the light is happening to be hitting it, you might see some chromatic aberration. But to be real with you, so far, I have not seen any. But that's just my experience so far. Flares, people talk about flares. I don't care about flares too much. But if you do point this lens towards a bright light, it will get a little flary, you know what I'm saying? So just don't point it too much at too many bright lights, you know what I mean? But if you're more into like the stylized vintage look, you actually might enjoy it. So, hey, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Well, this ain't trash though, but you know what I mean. Let's keep it moving. But again, let me stress, there's no autofocus, all right? No stabilization. In my opinion, you're gonna get your best look if you're using tripods, sliders, or something very stable for handheld setups. So if you're a filmmaker who likes creating stylized, detailed shots of products, food, tools, sneakers, this lens could definitely and absolutely live on your camera for that. You feel me? So the price and the value on this is sitting at about $113 on Amazon. You got to check whenever you're going to go look at it. A lot of macro options from bigger brands is going to hit you for $400 to $500 to $1,000 to get these type of results. So you see the price, you see what this looks like. You know what I mean? This thing is beautiful. Now, I'm not saying this is at the same optical level performance as something that costs $1,000, $2,000, but I am going to say this. For this being a little over $100, the image quality comes real close. You feel me? So, hey, if you're a label type person who cares about the label, G-Master or whatever, it is on you. You got the paper, go ahead and spend it. If I shot something with this versus a $2,000 macro lens, I promise you, no one's gonna be like, yeah, he used a cheap lens for that. They're not gonna know. I promise you they're not gonna know. And if they do know, they deserve everything in life. Real talk. But they ain't gonna know. All right, so now let me break down some of the pros and some of the cons. It's a very affordable way to get into the macro scene, all right? That's for sure. Now, it's all metal build, feels solid, and durable. It's 1x1 magnification, real macro, not fake close-up shots, all right? This is real macro. Good sharpness at 2.8, but it gets even better the more you stop down. Nice separation and bokeh. It's compact enough to travel with, and it could double as a normal prime for portraits, detail shots, stuff like that. So you're getting like a 2-in-1. You feel me? It's not just macro, so you can just use it as a prime. Now let's talk about some of the cons real quick. No autofocus, no electric contacts, full manual, everything, no weather sealing at very close distances. At 2.8, the depth of field is crazy thin. That deep front barrel can block light whenever you're really close. And the flare can get pretty crazy if you're pointing at bright lights or something. I don't tend to do that, but that's what it does. So, who do I think should buy this? If you're an APS-C shooter who wants to learn macro, shoot products for your channel or your business, grab detailed shots of gear, watches, food, sneakers, whatever, and you don't want to drop half a paycheck on a lens, you definitely should buy this. All right, this TTartisan 40mm 2.8 macro is honestly a no-brainer starter lens for this, getting into this stuff. And I'm gonna be real with you, just period. It's just dope, man. I still can't believe this thing costs this much. And it's official. This could be a weapon, man. If you threw this at somebody, they're gonna get hurt, for real though. It's dope. All right, sorry, man. I get sidetracked sometimes. All right, so if you're really heavy on autofocus, shoot fast-moving stuff all the time, this isn't the lens for you. This is not the lens for you, all right? So that's my take on a TTartisan 40mm 2.8 macro for Sony APS-C lens. It's a lot. See, now for the price, it punches way above its weight. Now, obviously, it's not perfect, but if you know what you're getting into and you're cool with manual focus, it's a powerful little lens that you definitely should have in your kit, for sure. So I'll have the link in the description below if you want to check current pricing or just pick one up. Now, this link will be an affiliate link, so if you buy one using my link, it helps support the channel at no extra cost to you, and I get a little something for it, and I would definitely appreciate that. And if you shot with this lens or you got a favorite other budget type of macro lens, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences and what you think, you know what I mean? So as always, thank you for watching We Shoot Films, and be blessed, subscribe, hit the bell on the side so you get notified on time. And like I always say, it is what it is. I'm out.